Manalapan, Florida, another place I want to be this morning. I'm freezing my you-know-what off. It's a morning show, so I'm not going to say what the you-know-what is. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. All right, a U.S. citizen hospitalized after a shootout with the U.S. Border Patrol. According to law enforcement, agents in Arizona attempted to stop a vehicle. The driver, though, fled on foot. He fired at a Border Patrol helicopter and also agents that were on the ground. The agents, of course, returned fire, striking the suspect, who was then taken to the hospital. The FBI says it's investigating an alleged assault on a federal officer, and the suspect is, as we say, in custody. For more, let's bring in a retired Border Patrol chief and former HHS advisor, Clem. Chris, thanks for being here. This situation in Minneapolis, obviously, we just reported what's going on in Arizona. I'm curious to get a lot of your thoughts about what's happening in Minnesota, specifically the way forward. We're hearing about de-escalating, but I'm wondering if Jacob Frey and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are really going to work with Tom Homan here. What's your sense of it? Good morning.
Well, good morning. And I want to address Minnesota, but I also want to recognize the lead-in story about what happened in Tucson, just miles south of where I'm at right now. This is the ongoing threat that Border Patrol agents face 24 hours a day. Even though the border is secure, we still have hostilities against agents. They return fire. Thank goodness they're alive and that suspect's in custody. Now, back to Minnesota. I agree with you 100%. I think the governor and the mayor have put so much vitriol and hate out there and really omissions and misrepresentation of what's happening. It's going to be difficult to scale back. However, President Trump, this administration really hold the nuclear option. The law protects them to go out there and continue to do what they're doing. But I recognize, and I think the administration recognizes, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's leading to, disruption and impeding assaults against agents, and unfortunately, engagement that led to deaths of 2 citizens. So I'm hoping that they find some common ground, de-escalate, bring things down, crowd control from the state and city, and then allow smaller teams to go out there and execute the targets that ICE and DHS have to go after there in Minnesota.
Just a quick follow-up. The nuclear, you said the nuclear option. Are you talking about the Insurrection Act? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. Or just continue to do more of what they're doing, right? I mean, like they don't have to concede, right? He has the law to back him out. He can say, you know what, we're going to still keep 3,000 agents out there. We're going to still do this. But I don't think that's where he wants to go. I don't think that's where the American public wants to go at this point, given all the things that are happening. But we're not going to concede law enforcement operation. I think that's the final straw. The president's going to continue to hold strong there.
Chris, from the southern border to Midwest unrest, President Trump spoke on the change of strategy there in Minnesota. He said it's not a pullback at all. Take a look.
Is this a pullback?
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino's very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here. But you have to understand, when I watch some of the people that I've been watching over the last few weeks, these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid agitators. These people aren't normal, like, that, they're incensed about anything. How do you get incensed when you go into a state and you're taking criminals out? You're taking monsters out, murderers. We had 11,888 murderers let into our country by other countries, by Biden with his open border stupid policy. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Your reaction?
Well, the president's right. First of all, I lived at least 2 years of that Biden open border policy. But, from an operations standpoint, the president talks business. I'm talking operations. You always are constantly evaluating, assessing, reassessing, refining and redirecting and repeating anytime you put a large scale operation or just a shift operation. If things aren't going well or there's different information or adjustments need to be made, it's continuous. I think Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth, which means you have to constantly refine and readdress. I think that's what the president's doing, and that's what I'm hoping with Homan being down there. I understand our CBP commissioners there, and Greg Bovino, friend of mine. He was my neighbor when I was chief in Yuma. He still is the chief in El Centro. The guy knows what he's doing from operations standpoint, but he's been doing this for quite a long time. He's had a lot of stress put on him. He's leading the men and women. He's walking the line with them. I commend him for that. But you know what? It's okay to change things just to make sure we can continue to get the results.
Hey, Chris, just really quickly, in the break, you said that you had just returned from New Mexico. I think you were at a graduation, a CBP graduation. Is that right?
That's absolutely
Yeah.
right. I was class 289. Graduated in 1995. This was class 1289. 1,000 classes over 30 years since I graduated the Border Patrol Academy in Glencoe, Georgia. So a couple of classmates and I went to that graduation, got recognized by the chief and the staff, and got to meet all the trainees. They're graduating. There was 51 new agents sworn in yesterday, and they are entering on duty a class every week. Morale is all-time high. Hiring is all-time high for the Border Patrol. It was a great experience yesterday.
Okay, I asked that question not to age you. You aged yourself, but I appreciate the
Congratulations,
perspective.
by the way, on being recognized and honored too. Sorry, go ahead, James.
Thank you.
No, you're fine. So you kind of answered the question that I was going to kind of follow up. I'm sure that you spoke to some of those agents, and I'm wondering if there's some concern now that they're in CBP, kind of about the public reaction to the work they're doing. Obviously, they're coming on the job in order to clear our borders and get the illegals out, but now kind of adding to the challenge of their job is also having to face off with these protesters and with their fellow Americans who are trying to hinder them from doing their job. What's the reaction to that? I would imagine it's got to be kind of tough knowing that's the environment you're going into professionally.
During some of the keynote speaking to the graduates, the chief addressed some of that, and I shook some hands and talked to families. The families were beaming with pride for their loved one that just graduated. And that's the key right there. The people that you make those sacrifices for, that sacrifice for you to do this job. We've always operated in an all threats environment, especially as federal law enforcement. You can go anywhere in the United States, even if you're a Border Patrol agent, and we see that play out anywhere around the country and even the world. They understand an all threats environment. They took an oath to this Constitution to defend and protect. And you saw that beaming out of the pride they had when they got their badge put on. They took that final oath of office before they got released to their stations. I don't think there's a concern. I mean, obviously, we're always thinking about the 360 going on around us, but they're one of the best trained academies in the world. 6 months, 117 days of class days. These guys are trained, to the top federal standards out there. I was proud. I could see it in their eyes. I could see it in their loved ones' eyes. It was a good day yesterday. America should be proud of what the Border Patrol is putting out there.
We are.
No doubt about it.
We are proud.
That we are. And we're very happy that you joined us this morning. Chris, Clem, thank you for being here. Great stuff. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you all. See you next time.
All right. Thanks.
All right. See you down the road. All right. Coming up, can cancer cells protect against Alzheimer's? New research here, and it really is amazing, the details, when we come back.